Hello everybody and welcome. This is Ketchup here once again, and with the release of Fighting EX Layer, I figured I'd basically sit down like old style with a character I've been playing quite a lot since, day one basically for me, but go over why something that works really well works the way that it does. For those that don't know, Fighting EX Layer has a system in it called the Gogi system, and it's basically a set of power-ups that activate in the middle of the match. You have to meet certain requirements, and if you do them, then these power-ups will activate and obviously make you a lot more dangerous. You can kind of compare it to the Street Fighter X Tekken gem system. It's very, very similar in that regard. But with Shadow Geist, who is my favorite character, absolutely. Been looking forward to him for a long time and was super hype that he made the roster. And through the Gogi system, you can actually make him really dangerous. The big one, really, I'm going to go into now is Berserker. Many of these Gogi decks work for a lot of different characters, and again, for those that don't know, there's about 15 of them, and they all have their different, strengths and weaknesses, and they buff different parts of your game plan. For day one, it seems really dangerous for Shadow Geist to have Berserker, and this video is basically going to talk about why that's the case. We're going to look at what the Gogi decks actually do, what Berserker lets us do in particular, and we have to do chain combos, attack the opponent a bunch of times, land some throws, attack them once again, and then use heavy attacks, and we gain these 5 different power-ups. The ability to do increased chain combos, more block damage, increasing our grab range, getting increased super meter gain, and being able to negate projectiles. So this video essentially is going to go over every single one of them and piece by piece talk about why it works so well. We're going to jump into training and kind of do this on the fly, really, to be honest. I've been playing a lot of this character and having a lot of fun, specifically because Berserker on Shadow Geist is absolute insanity. We're going to turn these off for now, and we're going to go with just this one for now. I can't really demonstrate this yet because there are no projectiles on screen because I'm in training mode. But first things first, Erase, the ability to break projectiles with our heavy attacks. This works really well for things like, Doctor in Dark. You can sweep his bombs in the neutral and get rid of them. But basically, you can heavy attack a projectile and get rid of it. It's as simple as that, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's useful, but it's not why we picked Berserker for Shadow Geist in particular. The first thing is meter up. Shadow Geist is very meter dependent to be incredibly dangerous, and that's mostly because of his block damage, or his block pressure, I think is more accurate. Even without the Gogi system, the down forward punch, the government, gives us massive amounts of block pressure because it's incredibly plus on block. So if we were to counter into shoulder charge into our government, we actually go in and throw out something else on block afterwards. And if they don't have the ability to guard crush basically and go through their own guard to punish me, which some Gogi decks let you do, you actually have to hold that. You have to kind of sit there and respect the plus frames that I'm throwing in your face, basically. And the reason we want meter up is because to make Shadow Geist dangerous, we want to maximize just how often we're building our super meter. So let's go for 2, first of all. Let's just give ourselves 2 bars of meter. And to do meter up, you have to land attacks that can be on block or hit. And the reason it works so well for Shadow Geist is because both the shoulder charge and the government both build us an insane amount of those hits. Because of the amount of individual hits these specials have, and the super, every single hit actually contributes towards the end result. It's not set out like super and special being 1 hit each. Every individual hit will actually build towards this requirement. So just this one sequence, which is low, light, low, medium, shoulder charge, super, even before I've done my add-on on the end, which was a safer chain combo, we actually have meter up immediately. And this will apply for the entire match now. If we get first hit on the opponent and just do this, this alone is now going to give us increased super meter gain for the rest of the entire match, which, as you can guess, is going to really help me because as Shadow Geist now, we can do things like, whiff our close dive kick if they have no projectiles to build crazy bar. I wouldn't recommend whiffing this, but you can whiff this as well. But if we're just generally whiffing to build bar, we're now going to get it a little bit faster because we ticked off that meter up requirement. And that naturally will go hand in hand with the block pressure that Shadow Geist has. Second of all, grab up. We have to do 2 grabs in total, and by doing grab up, we're going to gain increased throw range. This is really useful because increased throw range by itself, that naturally works really well. But also for Shadow Geist, again, when there's great, plus frames like this, if they have to sit there and hold all of this, if we throw out something else, because they have to hold it, we can then start enforcing grabs, because if they're sitting there blocking, quite rightfully so, respecting the block frames, we can throw out grabs now and start having that extra layer of mix-up. You know, really start making the opponent fear the grab, because once they start trying to tech the grab, we can throw out something else, and then bam, on hit or block, they're going to get more stuff. But if they were to try and take a grab there, they would have got opened up and would have given me a full combo, basically. So plus frames, plus increased grab range. We already like meter up and grab very much. You know, they work really well for us. Now we're going to talk about the major power-ups, the orange ones. The first one is going to be Pierce. Pierce, we just have to do enough hits, basically, to trigger it once again. It's very similar to meter up, to be honest. As you can see, they're both ticking on the bottom of the screen. Take a look at the bottom left. Pierce and meter up are both increasing there, but Pierce is increasing a little bit lower because we have to do more hits to tick it. That said, if we have 2 bars of meter, for example, and we enforce our plus frames using, you know, the chain combo, shoulder charge, government, guarantee this once again, go for another government, run in, go for a safer ender, those 2 bars that I spent has already triggered my Pierce. And Pierce is drastically increased chip damage on buttons, specials, and supers all combined. Now I'm going to give myself 3 bars of meter. This is an incredibly likely scenario that if you're playing Shadow Geist correctly, you're actually going to find yourself in this position. Now look at the top right, look at the health that Hokuto has and how much I drain on block, of which if they can't guard cancel this, it's almost completely guaranteed and they have to sit there and hold it. So let's have a look. Hang on, actually you have to give myself Pierce, which would actually make life a lot easier. Let's go Pierce, meter build, increase grab range. So let's say we've now activated these. Take a look at the chip damage. So we're going for that just because it's an easy option. You can go for a low fierce as well, but obviously you've got to time it properly, and then you can go for that. But as you can see, the chip damage is absolutely insane. And again, because it's all super plus, it's something you have to hold if you don't have the Gogi deck to really fight back about it. And naturally, increasing my block damage is incredibly useful for obvious reasons. We combine it with the meter gain, which gives us more of our government supers for plus frames, combine it with the chip damage now, and we just became super dangerous. Now, that's not even the final layer of why Shadow Geist likes this very much. Finally is the 6 chain. The 6 chain essentially gives us increased ability. It pretty much doubles our ability to do chain combos, and we can get 6 hits rather than 3. So normally we can only do light, medium, heavy. Either punch or kick, doesn't matter, but it has to be light, medium, heavy. You cannot go back in strength. You have to go forwards and a little bit greater. So in terms of the combo system, let's turn her off block real quick. Let's go no guard. So for those that are new to fighting EX Slayer, the link system, where you specifically time buttons like this, that's always been in the game, and you can link things together, no problem. But the chain combo system is with no execution required. You just do light, medium, heavy. It can be standing or crouching, it doesn't matter, but it has to be light, medium, heavy, or medium, heavy. That's basically the gist of it. And it allows you to do chains, which is much easier to do, much faster, and easy to hit confirm as well. We activate 6 chain by essentially doing chain combos. We have to do 15 chains in particular, which basically means it's every hit after normal connects. So let's quickly turn off 6 chain. Let's negate it and then restart. To activate this, we have to do 15 chains. It doesn't count on the first hit, but any hit afterwards that counts as a chain will add towards this requirement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see on the bottom left, we're starting to aid towards this. And as long as it's a chain, anything that comes after the first hit, if it's a chain, it will add to that statistic, basically. And this isn't hard to build because naturally, you know, my low light kick has loads of range. And a safer option to end anything with Shadow Geist is his sweep, which comes at the end of a chain. So if you're trying to poke down the opponent, poke them with this, or something like this, you can already see that I'm at a much safer range, and I'm already building towards my 6 chain anyway. You're not going to get it in the first round, because naturally, you know, unless they just sit there all day and block, it's going to take you a few rounds to build this. But once you do, instead of being able to do light, medium, and heavy, we can do 2 of the same strength before we move up. And like this, you can do light, light, medium, medium, heavy. And we can do this 6 times technically, but there is too much pushback to do the entire thing most of the time, as you saw right there. The one thing to factor in is that you cannot do light kick, light punch, or medium kick, medium punch. It has to be a punch first. Punch, kick, punch, kick. This is the only way we can do the increased chain ability with 6 chain. Punch, punch, kick, kick, and then we can do it. Now, you've already seen we're getting extra hits here. Combining that with our plus pressure and our, our chip damage, and now we just have something that's way easier to hit confirm. On hit, we can just go into a shoulder charge to stay nice and guaranteed. And on block, which is where things get absolutely insane, let's set the guard. And now, we can throw all of this out into a shoulder charge, into plus frames. Let's do it again. Look at the chip damage on the top right. All of that, the opponent kind of has to sit there and hold because of all the plus frames. I'm ending it in a much safer ender with the sweep. And because we have the 6 chain, we can add extra hits to our chain combo, which does more chip damage and is way easier on hit to hit confirm. And if they're sitting there blocking this and they get hit, we can hit confirm these 4 hits all day, and we even have the extra time of the shoulder charge. So naturally, this combined with everything else makes Shadow Geist with Berserker absolutely terrifying to fight against. Now, this basically just means that the move set that Shadow Geist has, I've only gone into the the plus pressure and the shoulder. I've only gone into these right now, but he has all these other moves that you can use as well. But to be honest with you, when it comes to picking the Gogi deck, it really is these moves in particular that you're combining to make him so dangerous. Finally, before we finish this off, once you have all of these activated, the reason you become so dangerous is because you're getting this guaranteed chip, but at any moment, you've got the mix-up of the low right here. But at any moment, you can throw in his overhead, the 2 mediums together, giving Shadow Geist an overhead. On hit, we can go into the government again and get more damage. We can still enforce that. Now, with the overhead, which can be super cancelled into plus frames or a full combo on hit, if the opponent is now going to sit there, let's go guard, all, and then after second hit maybe. I don't know if I can really demonstrate this, but let's say the opponent gets hit here. And we go for a knockdown. We're going to go for a knockdown here. And now on wake up, as you can see right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can start forcing plus frames. And then we can just start throwing out mix-ups. On top of that, we saw the overhead as the extra piece right there. Because if they're sitting there blocking low, because I'm throwing out these chains, all of these chains that are low hits, most of them are low, some of them aren't, but as you can see, we have the low mix-up because I'm going for low attacks. The second we enforce the plus frames, we can start throwing out the overhead. And on block, we still get this crazy block situation into guaranteed chip. Go for a knockdown. Knockdown again. Meaty with this. Pressure. Overhead. On block. Still fine. Throw in a grab because we have that extra layer of offense as well. And even while she was sitting there and blocking, she took all of that guaranteed chip. So basically, this was supposed to be the breakdown of the deck, basically, in particular. And hopefully it has helped you guys out a little bit. I didn't want this to be too long, but to be honest with you, going over every individual power-up, it's worth paying attention to and really soaking in some of this knowledge. It's day 1. This is all subject to change. They might change some of this around. But that said, if you're playing Shadow Geist and you're not sure what Gogi deck to pick, I thoroughly recommend just trying Berserker because it's not difficult to use, it's not difficult to play, and as long as you can confirm and condition the enemy, you can get some really good results quite early on. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in some more fighting EX layer content by all means. I know we just did our first of 5 with Mustard, which was good fun. But that said, take care, and I will see you later.